She said, how you gonna get that grease in that crankshaft all the way up yonder to that Babbitt bearing with no air pockets in it? I said, I'll show you. Go through it, find what you need, put all that back, but I'll show you, and then we'll move on. The problem is on these McCormick-Deering-engines, when you put that grease in that greaser up there, it comes all the way down the center of that and up that way and comes out right there in that little hole right yonder. That's where the grease comes out. So when you clean that out, that's what I did on that engine over there, remember? When you clean that out, you have to stuff some grease back up in there to start stuffing grease in here and cranking down on that greaser, thinking that you're going to do that a couple of times and have grease down to here. It takes a lot of grease in there. This is very easy, well worth the time built to build one. Being only a couple of parts from your leftover buckets, I guess, but all we've got there is a length of 1/4 inch copper tubing, compression on that end. It's 1/8 inch pipe, 1/4 in yonder, 1/8 inch pipe out here, a 90 there, brass 1/8 inch pipe in yonder, and a grease fit. Now let's put something on there. That's that gasola right there. Just a little of that gasola right there on a cotton swab. And controversy on where if you put pipe dope on the inside or the outside of the threads, you know, it's according to the application. And this so how come you putting gasola on that? Well, this is gonna be a tool that I'm going to keep forever. I've got two already. I just couldn't find them in this move I've got going. And then we on this other end down here, we got that there thing, and then we got that ferrule right there. You know, probably don't need no gasola on that. We'll tighten them up real good. Now we got a tool that should provide years of service. And we're good over there and use that now. But first we have let's do another one. This one is for the cam on the igniter engine. And we'll clean up that thread sealant there. Get over and put that to use. One of them's got left-hand threads on it, one of them's got right-hand threads on it. Y'all kind of know me. If it's got threads on it, I'll probably put some sealer on it. This engine's been sitting around for a while. Just in case a dirt dauber got in there. Well, that's clean. Well, that looks real good. Very good. Really clean. But the point of the video is how to grease that thing. And this being the apparatus that we made, 1/4-inch tubing, and what you do, you stick that in yonder to the point where it bottoms out down yonder. That's as far as it'll go, and you still got some room here. We're going to put the grease gun in there. It's going to shoot the grease out down yonder where it needs to be, filling up that end, and it'll push itself out. Y'all watch this. That's that Lucas. It's Lucas grease. If you can see it, each stroke after a certain amount there started to pushing the fitting the pipe outward. Okay, we got the grease coming out. I would venture to say that crankshaft is well greased. And at that point, you fill up the cap. And what happens as the engine's running that direction, and you just put the palm of your hand right here on the end of this right here, just the palm of the hand right there will turn this outside cap inward, pushing grease to the bearing. Okay, we'll remove this. We'll remove this grease cap cup and refill it a couple of times taking it. To verify, look at that. We've already got grease coming out of the bearing. That's the way you grease a crankshaft on a McCormick-Deering-engine. Now let's grease these two bearings up here the same way. First, we'll refill this cap. Just round it off there, put it right up on there. Some squeeze out, transfer it to the other remaining cap. I think this is about episode 22 or so of this 1920 McCormick-Deering-engine video. Been a long time getting up to this point, you know, just sitting on a workbench. But catching up as we go, you'll notice on this M right here, it has a thick jam nut. These rods had a long bolt there, and normally you would find a half nut behind this castellated one that the cotter locks into. But in this case right here, when I put that half nut in there and then put the castellated nut on there, it went down too far. So in order to get that nut back up to the center hole on my cotter, then I just use a full length jam nut, and that set this back right, you know. But we've got grease right there. We've got squeeze out on this side, and right here we got squeeze out on that side. Now you'll notice that those carders are not spreaded apart yet. After I run the engine for a bit, most likely it'll be looseness here. So I'll take that off, give it a couple of whatever amount needs to be to put that back to some degree of tightness. To each his own on that amount, and then I'll bend them over there and set that tight. But in the meantime, we have confirmed that we've got grease to that crankshaft. Grease coming out both sides of the bearing there. So we confirmed that we got grease in yonder. And it's all the way from right there, from right here. I'll show you. I'm going to turn that. And we'll go over and look at that. I'll show you something. Y'all see that squeeze out on both sides, oozing out in there? Oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's the way you grease a McCormick-Deering-engine big end of the rod bearing. Some controversy, I guess, on them gears in yonder. How do they get greased and all of that? Well, let's put some grease in these bearings here. This bearing over there and that bearing right there, and then we'll get to that camshaft. A little rain here in Middle Tennessee today. Rained all day. Some of that Harvey rain, I think. Just shove shove that 1/4 inch one down in that greaser right there, and start pumping away, and you can see it start rising up out of there. Oh yeah, we got grease there. And also on the other one, we'll do the same thing. Just level those off and fill the caps and screw them down. And as you tighten that one down, if you turn the crankshaft, okay, we already got some ooze out right there. That's grease right there. So less than 4 thread screwings on that cap right there. We had ooze out. Now also you'll have ooze out on the inside. And it's going to ooze out to where the largest gap is. Okay, I can already see grease behind that gear yonder, but I'm gonna do it a couple more turns to see if it changes. Okay, we have more right there. And we have more on the inside. So that's confirmed that we have grease. That whole complete Babbitt bearing is greased from outside to inside. There would be some degree of grease that would get out and get on those gears. My understanding is it's the oil system, but there's no reservoir in there. If you look in the housing, there's a slight trough, but as I'm looking in there, and the engine is setting dead level now on this workstation, it's dead level, and as I look in yonder, the trough is leaning toward the middle of the engine, meaning that it's draining the oil away from the gear, not toward it. It does not run in a puddle of oil. But what it does run in is the oiler, the drip oiler. When the oil drips on the piston, then after it makes a couple of in and outs, then that oil somehow gets slung, gets on the rod, gets on the crank, gets on the thorough, and I would imagine it being a oily mist in there. So, but that's understanding of that. And also there's a slight in this casting. I've got an ample amount of oil in there, and it's a slight. From dead level, it's a slight increase in droppage all the way to the pipe thread there on the inside. And that's cast, that's a factory cast in there. So, we'll get this other cap filled up here. And then on to the other side. And now we'll take this cap off and use that extra grease to start filling it up. And it'll be the same story over here. You'll have grease seepage right there. I would have thought we would have had seepage on the outside by then. We do have seepage on the inside. Well, we got grease now. We've got seepage all the way around. And we have seepage on the inside. I'd like to have a little more now. See, that was a full cap full, besides a full system, and it didn't squeeze out on the inside. We got a lot of squeeze out on the outside, and that could be that there's a little more gap on that side than there are this side. And put that right on there. We got squeeze out in there now on both sides, verified. All right. That's 1/8 inch. That's 1/8 soft copper tubing. So we'll fill up that. That's the cam gear shaft. Cam shaft. Just all the way till it bottoms out, and the same procedure. Back on, and we'll go through the same procedure with it as we did the bearings, by turning the engine and observing where the back of the cam gear is, will be where this oozes out at. Okay, we have ooze out down in there. Amazing, just simply amazing. And we have ooze out up in yonder, I can see it. So, yeah, that's the way you grease a International. And as you can see, even the smaller one there, ooze out both inside and outside with less than a capful by using that method there to fill those up. I'm just saying. Now we'll get them fuel lines on there. That's my start. Okay, I found my original too. McCormick-Deering greasers.